Feeling like you're running on empty, even though you're giving it your all? Welcome to the club. Today, we're diving deep into the world of burnout, a place no one wants to visit, but many end up finding themselves in. Spoiler alert, it's not a tropical vacation spot. But fear not, we're going to unpack what burnout really is, why it happens, and how you can get back to feeling like your awesome self again. And believe it or not, we'll be relating this to my own journey of daily exercise, stretching, and meditation, which I have talked about in the previous video, and I've told you that I've hit some serious plateaus. So grab your stress ball and let's get into it. Alright, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is burnout? It's more than just feeling tired. Burnout is like that moment when your car's engine light comes on. It's a signal that something's seriously wrong under the hood. According to the World Health Organization, burnout is a state of chronic stress that leads to feelings of exhaustion, cynicism, and reduced performance. Imagine working your tail off, but instead of feeling accomplished, you feel like you've hit a brick wall. And let me tell you, hitting that plateau halfway through my 256-day journey felt just like that. I was doing everything right, 30 minutes of exercise, stretching, and meditation daily, but progress stalled and the exhaustion kicked in. It's like you're on a treadmill that's stuck on the same speed. So now that we've understood what burnout is, let's talk about why it happens. Buckle up because the reasons are more common than you might think. The first is actually overwork, the classic culprit. If you're working around the clock and still feeling like you're never caught up, burnout is right around the corner. It's like trying to fill a bathtub that's missing its plug. No matter how much you pour in, you're never going to see any progress. During my journey, there were days when the physical activity felt like too much, especially when I wasn't seeing the results I expected. It was overwork in disguise, pushing through workouts, stretching, and meditation, but feeling like I was running in place. That's burnout creeping in. The second is the lack of control. Do you feel like you have zero say in your work or personal life? That's a surefire way to burn out. When you can't make decisions or influence outcomes, it's like being stuck in traffic with nowhere to steer your own car. In my case, it was feeling stuck in a routine that wasn't evolving. I was following a set plan without flexibility, which contributed to that plateau. Not having control over changing things made the burnout feel even heavier. The third one is unclear expectations. When you don't know what's expected of you, or when expectations keep changing, it's like trying to hit a moving target while blindfolded. Not fun, right? Part of the struggle for me was not knowing if my efforts in exercise and meditation were enough. The unclear expectations of more progress, more results without clear feedback led to frustration. It's like having a goal but no clear path in getting there. The next one I would say is work life imbalance. If your work is eating up all of your personal time, that's a recipe for burnout. It's like having your own favorite dessert every day until you're sick of it. Balance here is the key. Sthirvana is the key. Similarly, dedicating so much time to my routine without balancing it with rest and relaxation started to wear me down. It's crucial to find the sweet spot between pushing yourself and taking the time to recharge. I have started to incorporate more walks in my routine to help with that. Lack of support is next. Feeling unsupported, whether from your boss, colleagues, or even your social circle, is a big burnout trigger. It's like trying to climb a mountain without a safety harness. In my own journey, not sharing that I'm hitting plateaus was like climbing that mountain alone, which only added to the burnout. So now that we've understood some reasons, how do you know if you're headed for a burnout? Here are some classic symptoms that you might be familiar with, and if you're nodding here, I think it's time to take action. So the first one is chronic fatigue. This isn't just being sleepy after a long day. It's feeling drained even after a full night's sleep. It's like a phone with 1% battery that refuses to charge. During my journey, despite sleeping well, I felt utterly drained some days. It was like my battery was constantly at 1%, no matter how much rest I got. Chronic fatigue is a big sign that burnout might be setting in. The second symptom is that of cynicism and detachment. When you start feeling negative about your work or life, or when you begin detaching yourself from tasks and people, that's a red flag. It's like watching your favorite movie and realizing it's just not exciting anymore. I experienced this too, feeling detached from my routine, even though I loved it initially. It was like the excitement of working out and meditating had worn off, leaving me cynical and disconnected. Third symptom is that of reduced performance. If you're finding it hard to get things done and your usual productivity is in the dumps, burnout might be the culprit. It's like having all the tools but none of the motivation to use them. My performance was hit or miss during those plateaus. Some days I'd push through workouts and stretching without any issue, but other days it was like I was dragging my feet, unable to getting things done. The next one is physical symptoms. Burnout can manifest physically too: headaches, stomach problems, and even unexplained aches and pains. If your body's starting to send out distress signals, I hope you'll listen. I didn't have much of the physical symptoms, but that doesn't mean that I was not being burnt out. And finally, sleep issues. Trouble falling asleep or staying asleep is a big sign. It's like your mind has a mind of its own that refuses to turn off. For me as well, I'd lie down to meditate only to find myself more restless than relaxed. It's like my mind was too busy to wind down, contributing to the burnout feeling. Okay, so we've understood the reasons and we've understood some of the symptoms. But what if you're actually feeling burnt out? Here's what you can do to put out those flames and get back your old self. The first one is taking breaks. You have to give yourself permission to take breaks. Regular breaks help you recharge and prevent burnout from escalating. It's like stopping for gas on a long road trip. You need fuel to keep going. In my case, I had to realize that taking breaks and switching up my routine was essential. I started incorporating different types of workout, and that really helped my cause. The second one is setting boundaries. Learn to say no and set clear boundaries between work and personal life. It's about drawing a line in the sand and not letting work cross it. I set my boundaries by changing my workout routine, and it was about creating a healthy separation between effort and recovery. The next suggestion I would have is that of seeking support. Talk to your friends, family, or a professional about what you're going through. Sometimes just voicing your struggles can lighten the load. I think talking about my plateaus was incredibly helpful through my video. Sometimes just sharing what you're going through can make a huge difference. My next suggestion would be to reevaluate your goals. Take a step back and look at your goals. Are they realistic? Are you overextending yourself? Adjust as needed to ensure that you're not setting yourself up for failure. For me, I realized I needed to switch up my workout plan and find new ways, or at least new times, to approach meditation in order to avoid feeling stuck. And finally, practice self care. Make time for activities that help you relax and recharge, whether it's exercise, reading, or just sitting quietly with a cup of tea. Self care has become a non negotiable part of my routine. It wasn't just about the workouts or meditation, it was also about taking time to rest and do things that recharge me mentally and emotionally. It's amazing how a little me time can extinguish the flame of burnout. I would also like to add that if burnout is severe, consider talking to a mental health professional. They can offer strategies and support to help you recover and prevent future burnouts. Sometimes burnout needs more than just self care routines, and therefore I am suggesting to get personal guidance if needed. Prevention is better than cure, right? So here's how you can avoid burnout even before it starts. First, set realistic goals. Avoid setting yourself up for failure by setting achievable goals. It's like setting a pace you can sustain on a long run. After hitting those plateaus, I reassessed my goals. I stopped focusing solely on progress and started enjoying the process. It was no longer about the end result, but about a sustainable, realistic growth. Next, prioritize self care. Make self care a regular part of your routine. It's not a luxury, it's a necessary thing for maintaining your well being. I personally have incorporated self care on a daily priority. Whether it was stretching in the morning or winding down with a book, it became part of my process instead of an afterthought. Next, I would suggest managing stress. Incorporate stress management techniques like mindfulness, meditation, or deep breathing exercises into your daily life. It's like giving your mind a mini vacation. I also adjusted my meditation practice. Instead of seeing it as another task to check off, I use it as a way to genuinely release stress and recharge. Another suggestion that I would have is keeping your tasks and responsibilities organized. An organized workspace and clear plan can help reduce the overwhelm. I have realized that staying organized can help me keep the burnout at bay. I can plan my workouts and meditation times to ensure that they're balanced and achievable, rather than overwhelming myself with an unrealistic schedule. And finally, I think it's important to foster supportive relationships. Build and maintain supportive relationships both in and outside of work. Having a strong support network can make all the difference. I leaned on my support system as well. Sharing my struggles with others allowed me to gain perspective and receive the encouragement I needed when burnout was looming. Burnout isn't just some buzzword we throw around. It's real and it can seriously derail your progress, whether that's in your work, personal life, or fitness journey, like I experienced firsthand. But it's also something you can overcome by recognizing the signs, setting boundaries, practicing self care, and reevaluating your goals. You can bounce back from burnout and prevent it from happening again. So, if you're feeling stuck, exhausted, or you've hit a plateau, take a deep breath. You're not alone, and burnout doesn't have to be the end of the road. It's just a sign to pause, recharge, and realign. Remember, this is a marathon, not a sprint. Take care of yourself, and I promise you, you'll find your way back to feeling like the best version of you. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more such conversations to help you live your best life and a balanced life. Until next time, take care, be present, and work towards Sthirvana.